Another good day. Quick injury update. Tristan Houston hyperextended his knee, so he'll be evaluated. Didn't go back into practice, but I don't think it's ridiculously severe. But last time I said that was Gary, and he's out 6 weeks. But and then Philip Moeller got dinged a little bit, and so he'll be evaluated for a concussion the next 24 hours. Thought practice, again, for as humid as it was, the guys really tried. And the thing that I look for in a practice or a scrimmage are both sides having success in certain things. And I thought, the offense won the scrimmage on Saturday by 1 point. Didn't play great, but the one thing they did was they protected the ball and they scored touchdowns in the red zone. So the defense did not force any turnovers, and they gave up too many touchdowns in the red zone, and that'll get you beat. But the defense did play well intermittently on Saturday. They had 10 3-and-outs, and they stopped the offense 20 of 28 times on third down. But a couple of the third down conversions were long yardage and led to touchdowns, so we got to get that cleaned up. And then today, kind of much of the same. We had a first down period where it was kind of back and forth. Offense had some really good plays. Defense had some really good plays. We had a goal line red zone period where the offense played well, and then we turned around and ended practice with a 2-minute drill where the defense dominated. So I think both sides of the ball are having some success, but also both sides of the ball are when that happens in a scrimmage situation, or when you're playing against yourself, I should say, whenever one side has success, it means the other side doesn't. So, but as long as it's balanced, I think we're headed in the right direction, and it certainly appears that way right now. Questions?
Last two practices, how has the fumbling issue looked?
Good. 0 fumbles on Saturday. Why would you ask me that? 0 fumbles on Saturday and none again today.
Coach, you know I love you and your practices.
Appreciate it, man. Love you too.
It was quiet out there. Where's the music? What happened?
I wanted to do something different. Sometimes silence can be distracting when you're used to chaos and noise. I wanted guys to have to bring their own energy level, bring your own juice, BYOJ. But I also, probably most importantly, I wanted to hear guys communicate. I wanted to hear what was really being said. I wanted to hear what was being said when your teammates, we talked before practice about, you want to be a great teammate. The kind of teammate you are is exposed when somebody else does something really well. And I wanted to be able to make sure that I heard the things that were being said, both from a communication standpoint and from an energy and excitement and leadership standpoint.
What does a walk-on guy like Jamarcus Durst bring to the second team? And is he there because they're waiting on people, or has he earned that spot? Why the second team found their safety spot in the Lightning package?
Oh, he's earned that spot, yeah. Jamarcus played quite a bit for us on special teams last year. He's an excellent walk-on to have. So, no, it's not that we're waiting on anybody. He's earned the right to be there.
Coach, you are probably kind of halfway could be as far as 15 goes. Where is this team, now as to where maybe your expectations would be at this point?
Yeah, I don't know that we ever really have expectations. The expectations are that we go really hard, and so right now we're on track. There's no doubt we're playing really hard. The coach in me, a lot of times, we get done with a scrimmage on Saturday, and I want to dwell on all the things that we didn't do well. First drive, the offense came out of the gate and had a 10-play drive, but resulted in 0 points because we had a false start or delay a game, something like that kind of set us behind the chains, and we didn't convert the third down there late in the drive. And certain things obviously didn't go well. And then a couple of coaches were, Coach, remember where we were last year at this time through our first scrimmage. And so are we better? now than we were then? Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot less coaching of culture and effort, or demanding of that, and a lot more teaching. But the guys understand that the expectations of practice, which allows us to now develop our guys. So I don't know expectation-wise as far as this team is concerned, but I do know when you compare it to where this time last year, we're well ahead of where we were.
Coach, this might seem a little bit off topic, but we are still in the middle of recruiting season. I mean, it's always recruiting season, but can you talk to me about how important high school coaches are for you guys in terms of recruiting?
Yeah, it's never off topic. They're incredibly important. It's a big reason why we have had some success recruiting, because of our relationships and our just our time and investment in the high schools here in the state of Texas. And again, in my experience in recruiting, a high school coach, at least again in my experience, has never told a kid you need to go here. What they do say usually is one of three things. I know those men that are on that staff, and I don't think very highly of them. I'm not sure that they're going to treat you the best. They're going to say, I don't know those guys, so I can't give you a good answer. Or they're going to say, I know those guys really, really well. I've been to their practices. I've been in their meetings. They've been around for years and years and years, and I know I've sent kids there before. I've sent kids that have played for those coaches. And if you decide to go there, they're going to treat you best. They're going to treat you as best as they can, and they're going to give you every tool necessary to develop on and off the field.
And now with the addition of, sort of 7-7 teams are coming into being sort of a bigger thing. Can you talk to me about the dynamic between that?
Yeah, I think any time a young man has what he would consider a mentor, it's our duty, if we want to recruit that young man, to develop a relationship with that person. And so I think we've done a really good job as a staff, our assistants have, of developing those relationships and understanding that there's a lot of people that have influence on young people, and anywhere from a brother to an uncle to a mom and dad to a grandparent to a pastor to a 7-on-7 coach to a high school coach to a high school assistant coach. And so it's our job to make sure that we find those people that do influence those young men, and make sure that all of their questions are answered, and that they feel good about us and their relationship with us.
Coach, I got two for you. As far as the injury to Houston goes, I know you moved Cameron there last week. Do you consider any other moves to kind of have some bodies in the room to finish out the game?
I don't know, because Cameron got hurt on Saturday, twisted his ankle. So I think we're probably done with that. I don't know. We talked about LJ, we've talked about Devin Duvernay, but I think that would stunt their growth at the positions that we're pretty sure that they're going to play in the fall. So right now it's business as usual in that room, but if it gets any worse, then we're going to have to be able to get through a practice at least.
Okay, and then the second thing, for our limited window, I've seen Duvernay runs with the ones. Has he, done enough to maybe, to earn that, or is he running with the ones, legitimately? And if so, what has he done to kind of turn it around?
Him and John Bird are splitting reps. He takes the first snap with the ones, so just like anything, you can't have 12 guys on the field, or 13 if you put the other quarterback out there. But he has had a really good spring. He has developed as a route runner. He's caught mostly everything that's been thrown his way. He's understanding some of the nuances in playing receiver, getting open zones, finding windows, those kinds of things. Like I said, route running is dramatically improved. So yeah, he's earned the right to be there.
Speaking of Humphrey, have you used him in the slot in 3 wide receiver sets yet, or is he still working at X?
He did when Jordan Pouncey went down he rotated on Saturday with Gerard, and then today we put 10 personnel in, so he got a lot of those reps in the slot today too.
Tom, kind of expanding on more about the slot position. That was a big deal for you at Ohio State and U of H. What, I don't know if it's a skill set or what do you need at that position for that to be as big a part of the offense as you need?
We've got a lot of different ones. We really have. I think ideally you would like a guy that can motion in the backfield and do some things out of the backfield, mainly on some speed sweep type things, but also be able to hand the ball off on other things. You'd like a guy that is quick and fast enough to make plays in space in the kind of RPO game on bubbles and quick hitters, if you will. But you know, we had Linnell Bonner at Houston our last year, and Linnell was phenomenal at that H position, and we had to adapt because Linnell's a 6'2", 215-pound guy. But what Linnell Bonner was really good at was working routes off of linebackers and nickels and things like that. We didn't motion him as much into the backfield. So I think there's an ideal one that you'd like, which is what I described first. But if that guy doesn't exist on your team until you go recruit one or develop one, then you've got to adapt, and I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
Do you feel like with LJ and some of the pieces you've got that you can find what you need at that spot with what you got?
Oh yeah, with Gerard and LJ for sure.
Got time for one last one?
The young receivers, Pouncey, from what you've seen in the last year, and Brennan, how has their development kind of gone from what you've seen?
Jordan really well. He sprained his ankle on I think it was Saturday. Was it Thursday or Saturday? I think Saturday. Thursday. There you go. Thank you. But he was coming along really, really well. And then Brennan does not look out of place out there. Now he doesn't know his left from his right sometimes, and he busts routes but typical things that you would expect from a guy that's been in the offense for 7 practices. But from a physical standpoint, he's doing all the right things. He's playing really physically, which is a lot of times a concern for young wide receivers, because a lot of times they haven't been asked to do that in high school. But he has, just like the young quarterbacks, he does not look out of place out there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.